Apologize in advance for the awkward camera angle. I just had surgery yesterday on my ACL and meniscus, so I'm currently laying down in bed, and I actually made this because of surgery because I've had some insomnia from the anesthesia, and I've been up since 3 in the morning. So I hope you enjoy. I say it's comprehensive, as comprehensive as I could make it, from 3 to 6 in the morning on painkillers. So take that for what you will. Let's jump in. Unless you've been living under a rock since Set 5 dropped, Mirio is the only character anybody's been talking about, right? Mirio, 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 Mirio. Everybody's talking about how easy this character is to play and how strong he is and how frustrating it is to play against him. We've already crowned him king, it feels like. It feels like everybody's already expecting him to win this Sunday, the webcam RLE. And some very popular, well-known YouTubers have even called him the best in the game. Well, I'm here to tell you today that you're wrong. And believe me, I'm going to show you how we can take this character down. There's 3 really simple steps. Number 1, simply lie down on your side, bring your knees to your chest, and then sob. Externally or internally, either will work. Okay, jokes aside, you can do it. Let's start by considering, what does Mirio want? Mirio wants 5 core things as a character, and I even did a decklet profile of the list that I used to win my store championship this Saturday. It's on past videos on my YouTube channel, and I went into his strategy, but let's just rehash some of those here. Number 1, Mirio wants momentum. He wants momentum on offense to clear his card pool, capture evildoers. He wants momentum on defense to take your attacks damage down to 0. Number 2, he wants to make his attacks high and low and force you to not have blocks. Number 3, he wants to ignore progressive difficulty. He wants to draw cards, and he wants to stack damage on his attacks, and he wants to nullify the damage on your attacks. So here's the list that I used to win my store championship this weekend. There was 10 of us. It was 6 rounds. All in all, I went 12-2 during the evening. So it's a 52 card list with 18 attacks, and all of our attacks are drawing us cards. Hardened Jab, Valiant Assault, Rejuvenating Smash, Phantom Threats going to our momentum, Texas Smash is there to stack on the damage, Back Alley builds or draws, whichever you like. We're running 4 Capture Evildoers, so we always have momentum. We've got Raiding the Villain's Hideout, which allows us to discard cards for damage, which we're getting all these cards from our attacks, and so this puts them to use, to where now we're giving attacks 4 damage each instead of 2 damage each with Mirio. And then it also allows us to get the momentum off of Rejuvenating Smash. And then we also have other things that stack damage, like Lemillion to the Big 3 and Self-Sacrifice, which a lot of times allows us to get to that needed 5 damage enhances for Phantom Threat to draw a card. And we're playing very scant defense with just a few copies of Cheerleader, Lost in Thought, You're So Obvious, and things like that. But in general, that's the list. It's very, very simple, very easy to pilot. You really don't need a lot of practice on it to do well. All right, so what do we want if we want to crush this character? Well, we want the opposite of the 5 things that Mirio wants. So, put simply, we want to prevent momentum. We want to make his attacks mid. We want to force him to play on progressive difficulty, deny his card draws, and reset his stats. So on offense, we want to reset his stats down. On defense, when he puts us to 0, we want to reset our stats back up. And we want to do this while not hurting our own efficiency. All right, so here's some cards that we could put in the main board to accomplish 2 or more of those 5 things. Number 1, we have Capture Evildoers, which is going to just steal his momentum straight from him. He can use Capture Evildoers on us, and then we can Capture Evildoers him right back. And we can not let him get the card pool clear and not get him letting us take our attacks damage down to 0. All right, we also have Runaway, which is going to prevent momentum because, here, I'm going to move my face to this side. We have Runaway, which is going to, we're not taking damage from the attack. We're simply losing X health as a cost, so it's not letting them get momentum. It's going to force them to play on progressive difficulty because we're going to stuff their card pool. And then we get Deadbolt and Engine Trouble. These are going to somewhat force Mirio to play on progressive because we're going to commit these when they're on offense. And then we can commit down his best foundations. So we can commit down the Raiding the Villain's Hideout or the Lemillion of the Big Three. Okay, moving over to the assets. We have Twisty Surroundings. This is going to be a Breaker 2, and it's a repeatable Breaker 2 that we can use on defense. But not only that, we can discard the momentum to change his attacks right back to mid. So I see Twisty Surroundings being everywhere this weekend. We have League of Villains. We can cancel an enhance ability on their attack, so we can cancel Valiant Assault. We can draw 2. We can cancel the Phantom Threat going to the momentum. We can cancel Back Alley Haymaker's build. There's a lot of things that we can do with League of Villains. And also, we can kill them if they use their It Can't Be Fixed, which they might not know that doesn't say this cannot reduce your rival below 1 health. The last asset, we have Top Pro Heroes. We can flip a foundation and it loses a keyword of their choice, so we can just take away their punch or slam keyword and not let him change the zone and give damage. Take away combo, not let them get that enhance off. Moving over to foundations, we have tape. This is, on these symbols, order, void, and water, I expect this to basically be a mandatory 4 of this weekend. Flip, change the zone right back to mid, or if something's a mid attack, it can be -2 speed. So this is great because we can use it for lots of other characters, but it's especially good going against Mirio. We have House of Cards, where after we play an enhance, we can get Mirio to remove, we can add the rival momentum to the top of their deck, especially if they don't have a way to draw it, and we can force their next check to be bad. All right, and then on life, of course, we get Faith Shield and Wall Cling to Omni blocks. We also get Cheerleader, which is to give an attack flash, and so they don't get to use the enhances on their cards. They don't get to get that draw 2 or the hardened jab, destroy and build, or the phantom threat, go to the momentum. On these symbols, air, good, and water, I see a lot of people running cards like Decoy Duplicate and Broken Psyche instead of Cheerleader, and I think that's a huge mistake. These cards both let your rival play their enhances, so they're good against decks where you want them to use up these like one-time enhances and then you kill the attack at the very end. But with Mirio, you really don't want them getting any of the enhances off on these attacks. So I find Cheerleader to be much, much better. And then Cooperation Offer is just an amazing card in the Overhaul kit, where, we saw people playing Stalking Her Prey just for flip -3 speed. Well, Cooperation Offer is flip -3 speed, return it to its printed zone. Oh, and if you're one of these new evil characters that can play attacks from outside your hand, you can commit for -2 damage when you need. So this is just an amazing card, this and tape. And then we have Night Watch, where we can also cancel and enhance. Yeah, I'm really big on canceling the Phantom Threat on Mirio. You just can't let him clear his card pool and get that free momentum. All right, so we have In the Typhoon, which, it's a heavy cost, but it does get you that last block if you've run out of high or low attack blocks on whatever zone he's been calling. And then on attacks, we have Chronostasis Trigger. We can use this to, if we're evil, if this attack deals damage, we're going to seal their character so that he can't use the bring your attack's damage down to 0, or he has to use it on this attack instead. Either way, it works. Also, we can force Mirio to play on progressive his next turn because we're going to freeze a rival foundation. And it has Breaker 2. So this card just works all around. And then we have cards like Bad Guy Roundup and Instant Shining Flash, that anytime you play them, whether as a block or as an attack, you're getting them to discard a momentum. And they're just fine attacks. They're not crazy strong, but you could see them being played. They both have nice blocks, they both have nice effects, and pretty good stats. All right, we also get Naval Laser Beam, which is Breaker 2 to force him to play on progressive. But it also, the bigger thing with this attack is it allows us to unflip foundations, and a lot of these anti-Mirio defense cards like Cooperation Offer, Wall Cling, Wall Cling, Cooperation Offer, Tape, they all have flip costs, and so Naval Laser Beam can unflip them right back up. Sideboard cards. These are cards that maybe if you were in the main board, they would hurt your efficiency. against a lot of other matchups, but when it comes to Mirio, you're going to want to take these cards out of the sideboard and put them into your main list. All right, first is Nullify. This just does everything. We can cancel and enhance on an attack if we need, or if we have the momentum, we can even cancel the reset that Mirio does. And you might say, well, 2 momentum is a really high cost. And you're right, except this has the void symbol, and characters like Eraserhead 1 were just given Rejuvenating Smash where they get free momentum. So an Eraserhead can play a move, buff its damage, and then just cancel Mirio's, bringing your attack's damage to 0, using Nullify from the free momentum from Rejuvenating Smash. And it's just a great card as a one-of in lists on these symbols. In my opinion, it's a criminally underplayed card. All right, Blood Curdle, we can take Mirio's defense down. Surprise Interception is a great card because it's not going to let the attack go to momentum for that turn, so it's even better than simply canceling Phantom Threat's Enhance to send itself after it resolves, because we're saying that not even that turn is Phantom Threat going to momentum. So even though we half blocked it and it dealt damage, it's still not going to momentum. Evade and Copy, maybe this could be mainboarded. I could see mainboarding 1 and then putting 3 more in the sideboard, but a lot of Mirio's attacks are very, very slow, which really helps this be a great foundation. You know, when you block a Hardened Jab and it goes right back, and it's only 3 speed. And then we have Crushing Truth, which we can use to destroy Seal Your Rival's all good or order attack. We're going to be seeing good and order decks all over the place this weekend. I could see putting this in the main board, but it's a great sideboard piece as well. Because remember, cards like Phantom Threat, the Enhance on Phantom Threat cannot be played until after Mirio uses his Enhance to change the zone. So Mirio uses his Enhance to change the zone, you destroy Crushing Truth and seal Phantom Threat. Or you can use it on his other attacks like Valiant Assault or Hardened Jab if your rival fails to do their enhances first, which definitely can happen in webcam RLE where people are keeping track of 5 things at once. It's very easy to get their order of operations wrong, and then you can seal their Valiant Assault before they draw 2. We have What's Their Plan, which you can flip. Both players discard 1 momentum. And we can also use it for the next attack this turn loses EX. So Mirio pretty much telegraphs that his second attack is going to be Rejuvenating Smash a lot of the time, and that has EX3, so I could see using it to take away the EX3. We also have a Todoroki card that I forgot to put in here that says flip, your rival discards a momentum. I think it's called Making a Stand. I can't remember. Again, I did this at 3 in the morning, so I'm definitely missing some cards. And then we have Fulfilled My Duty. We can end this Enhanced step. Just to reiterate, Phantom Threat has to go after Mirio changes the zone, so we can end the Enhanced step before they get that Enhance off. We get attacks like Gory Stab, where if they block it, they're going to discard 2 momentum, or you could destroy a foundation after they play an Enhance, so you could destroy, like, raiding the villain's hideout. I don't really see this being worthy enough for a sideboard, but I thought I would include it because it's doing 2 of the 5, or 3 of the 5 things. And then we have Somnambulism. If you're playing on midnight, you can commit your rival's character, and it's good on defense for the Breaker 1. All right, let's just look at other cards. I only went into ones that I thought were doing 2 or 3 of the 5 things that we needed, but we have Ice Storm, Cheerful Uppercut, and Barrier Shield for the Breakers. Evil versus Good has always been used to cancel specialized sound waves. Well, now we can use Evil versus Good to cancel Rejuvenating Smash. We get Electromagnetic Stomp, which we can add back to our hand. We get Lost in Thought and League Invitation to take away their raiding the villain's hideout and other key foundations. We get Confused to remove a keyword so that they can't change the zone on it. And then we get Can't Escape Me, Desperate Struggle, Sticky Balls to stuff the card pool, reset damage, not let them draw. You know, planning ahead is really nice because all his attacks are normally going to be mid, and so you can easily commit it and just get -5 damage. And that's repeatable, whereas You're So Obvious, it's going to be a one-time destroy and take it down to printed. So that's an option. So there's a lot of, and I'm sure there's a lot of other cards missing. If I missed any that you can think of, just drop them in the comments and I'd love to read them. Okay, so the best symbols from me looking at what to at the main defense cards are Water, Evil, Void, Life, and Order. Luckily, of course, Life and Order to me are the two best symbols in the game right now. And Water and Void and Evil have a little bit of work to do, but on certain characters, they're really, really great. So, what are the bad matchups from a character standpoint that Mirio doesn't want to run into? And are there any bad matchups where the characters are good and can also be used for other games? Sorry, my alarm went off there. We've got Eraserhead 1 and All Might 7. They can both just turn off Mirio. And again, Mirio's a character who's doing everything just on his face. You know, he's really relying on him being ready. And so Eraserhead can turn off Mirio for each attack using Erase. We can turn off the zone changes. We can then block with Erase, which has a breaker 1, and we're keeping the attacks mid. And Rejuvenating Smash is going to let him draw on defense, and it's going to let him get momentum for cards like Nullify. And then we have All Might 7, who commits Mirio after only 3 blocks. So, you know, he can full block Mirio once, and then just hold a couple mid blocks, get into half blocks, and Mirio's committed, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. So Mirio has to respect All Might 7's defense and know that if he attacks the third time, there's a good chance Mirio's going to lose his defense. So these characters turn off Mirio pretty much completely. And then we have Eraserhead 2 and Shoto Todoroki 1, who they're not going to turn off Mirio, but they're going to turn off his attacks because Mirio really depends on the enhances on his attacks. Mirio doesn't really care about his foundations so much. He just wants to build foundations. What he really cares about is the enhances on his attacks. So we can cancel those with Eraserhead 2 and Shoto Todoroki. We can cancel the going to momentum from Phantom Threat, the destroy and build from Hardened Jab, the draw 2 cards from Valiant Assault. We could even cancel things like 4 damage on Texas Smash. And then we have Overhaul and Momo Yaoyorozu. And they're not canceling anything, but they can fish for blocks. So Overhaul gets the block from his stage. He gets to find the needed zone. He gets to, pick up a selective tech piece that he built down earlier in the game for this moment, like a Faith Shield. And we have Momo, who can then go and grab a block from a discard. Mirio's going to be calling low quite a bit of the time, so Momo has access to cards like Instant Shining Flash, or 1 low block that's going to get Mirio to discard a momentum. Or when she goes for low, maybe it makes Mirio call high the rest of the turn. I guess the Momo Enhance actually goes, you can just wait to use it until after they use their Zone Change Enhance. And then you have a character like Shoto Todoroki 2 who can cancel Mirio's momentum. So he'll make Mirio pick up his momentum. And you can do this on defense and on offense. It's just once per turn, so you can do it twice over a turn cycle. He can do it on offense so that Mirio can't take a damage down to 0. And then he can do it on defense so that Mirio doesn't get to use Capture Evildoers to clear his card pool. So these characters are very, very strong characters. Eraserhead 1, Momo, and Overhaul were all in the S tier on my top 100 character tier list. Eraserhead, Shoto Todoroki, and All Might, they were all in the A and B tiers. And I believe Shoto Todoroki 2 is also in the B tier. So we had Todoroki 2, All Might 7 were in the B tier. These 2 characters were in the A tier. And then we had Overhaul, Momo, and Eraserhead 1 in the S tier. So these are very, very strong characters that have very, very strong game plans to counter that of Mirio's. And then we also have characters like Recovery Girl, who's very hard to kill. She can definitely mill a Mirio out because she just keeps healing herself. She can also recycle her foundations like Cooperation Offer, which have a flip cost, and then you can destroy it, and then you can just build it right back. You have Toru, who can give things flash. Toru always sounds better in theory than in practice, though. You have Midnight, who can get the 4 copies of Somnambulism. You have Midoriya 3, who can give things Breaker. And then Night Eye can mill a Mirio out, which actually happened to me. That was one of my 2 losses this Saturday. I was in the semifinals of the PSC. I played Night Eye. In game 1, I won on turn 2 on only 3 foundations, playing 6 attacks. I went Phantom Threat to my momentum, and then I went Back Alley Haymaker into a Valiant Assault, into a Capture Evildoers card pool clear, into a Hardened Jab, into a Valiant Assault, into a Texas Smash. I check running fives, and my card pool is pretty much always clear. So, but then on game two, I did not get off to a fast start. I got off to a pretty slow start, and then I had one turn where I didn't draw attacks like I needed, and then after that, he just milled me out. I think he milled me out by turn four. So Night Eye could be kind of a fun counter for a Mirio that's running really close to 50 cards like I was. Okay, so that's how you can do it. And just remember, everything you want is on the other side of fear. So, we have this big fear of missing out. It feels like if you want to make top cuts, you need to be running Mirio, and everybody's going to be running Mirio. And so a lot of people have been saying, well, Mirio's boring, but I'm going to play Mirio anyway because I want to make top cuts. You don't have to do that. I think we showed last season with Ojiro too that, in the Oceania regional, everybody wanted to make top cuts was playing Ojiro 2, and then Tam came and steamrolled him with Deku 1. And then in Florida, we had I think we had 20 plus Ojiro 2s, but only 2 made top cuts because everybody was playing tech pieces against the Ojiro 2 for the Ojiro 2 matchup. So you can play your character or a more fun character if you like. You don't have to give in to the peer pressure of the crowd to play Mirio. Also, when you play against a Mirio, you don't need to be fearful of, okay, I've already lost this game. You got to have tech ready in your sideboard to come in, and you have to feel confident about the matchup. And you're play testing over the next few days, you've got to be running at least 50-50 against Mirio to run a list that you like to run. All right, so that's it. Let's crush Mirio. Let's use this, and let's not let there be half the top cuts be Mirio. If we work together, we take some of this advice. Maybe you can give me some more pointers in the comments, things that I missed. I'm 100% positive I've missed tons of tech against Mirio. So let's all come together and let's not let this character take down the RLE.